They say you should never trust anything that seems too good to be true. And in my case, that too good came in the shape of a century-old Victorian house with ivy-covered walls, boarded windows, and a history no one wanted to talk about. I bought it for $1. Yes, exactly $1. No extra zeros. No catch, at least not on paper. The first time I laid eyes on the house, something about it made my stomach tighten. The house sat at the edge of a dead-end street in a town called Arleston, a quiet place that even Google Maps seemed to forget ... Paint peeled from the shutters. The front door leaned sideways. A single swing in the yard creaked with no wind. And above it all, an attic window ... open. The town called it a revitalization program, a way to breathe life back into old, forgotten homes. All I had to do was sign a contract promising I'd live there for 1 year. No renovations required, no taxes, just stay for 1 year. It felt like fate. I was broke, jobless, and I figured I'd just have to live with the creepy vibe. A house is a house. The key was taped to the mailbox, just like the county official promised. No ceremony, no welcome party, just a rusty brass key and a note. Stay safe. Moo. The first night was quiet, too quiet. I unrolled my sleeping bag in the living room, surrounded by dust and silence. The house creaked like it was breathing timid and tired. At 2:30 a.m., I woke up to the sound of footsteps above me. Slow, steady, one at a time. I froze. There shouldn't have been anyone upstairs, ... I whispered, "Hello?" Into the dark, no answer. The sound stopped. The second night, I found a note tucked behind the bathroom mirror. A scrap of yellow paper, faded with age. It said, "If you see him, don't speak." At first, I thought it was a joke. Maybe some teenager trying to scare the new guy. But later that night, when I passed the mirror again, I swore I saw someone standing behind me ... Tall, pale, smiling. I turned fast. Nothing. I tried to explain it away. The footsteps, the mirror, the cold air that came and went like it had a will of its own. Maybe it was the house settling. Maybe I was just tired. But on the fourth night, something happened that I couldn't explain. I was brushing my teeth when I saw it again. Him, same tall figure, standing at the end of the hallway, motionless, smiling. But this time, he moved one slow step forward, then another, and then he disappeared. Just like that. The next day, I started going through the old furniture left in the attic. Most of it was junk, mildewed books, broken lamps, yellowed newspapers from 1953. But I found a leather-bound journal, its spine cracked and mold-stained ... The first page said, "Property of Daniel Whitmore. If you find this, get out." He was the previous owner, the man who vanished in 1974. The entry started normal. House is old, needs work. Heard a noise last night. Hen. I heard them whispering in the walls. They only come out when I sleep. I nailed the door shut. It didn't matter. And finally, there's a room beneath the house that shouldn't exist. That was the last page. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I started looking. The basement was cramped and moldy. Just a dirt floor and one light bulb dangling from a frayed wire. But when I tapped the floorboards near the furnace, I heard hollow space beneath. I pried it open with a crowbar I found in the shed. Beneath, it was a hatch. Locked, chained, bolted shut from the side, like it was made to keep something in. I should have walked away. I should have left, but I didn't. I opened the hatch, and I climbed down into the dark. Below the house, the room was smaller than I expected. Stone walls, low ceiling, and in the middle a wooden chair with straps, like someone had been held there, on the wall across from it. Dozens of names scratched into the stone. Some were barely legible, some recent. One of them was mine. I didn't put it there. Suddenly the light flickered, and I heard breathing, not mine. Behind me, I turned. Nothing. But the breathing got louder, closer, and then I saw handprints forming on the wall in front of me. Small, wet, moving, like someone trapped on the other side of the stone. I stumbled out of the underground room, slammed the hatch shut, and this time I bolted it, but something had changed. It was like the house was awake. They moved the furniture. The next morning, I woke up to find the furniture rearranged. My sleeping bag was on the porch. The journal was gone, and someone or something had written in chalk on the living room wall, "You opened it, now you stay." I was done pretending this was just my imagination. I drove into town to ask questions. The town knows. The man who sold me the house, Mr. Wexley, worked out of a small trailer labeled County Restoration Office. He looked nervous the moment he saw me. "You opened the basement?" I said yes. He sighed and said, "We stopped sending people into that house 10 years ago, but someone high up insisted it go back on the program. We thought maybe if someone could live there a year, it'd stop." I asked, "Stop what?" He just stared at me and said, "People don't leave that house the same. If they leave at all." The portrait room. That night, I found a new door. It hadn't been there before, right where the bookshelf used to be. Behind it, a narrow hallway with candle holders on the wall. At the end of the hall, a single room lit by a hanging bulb. And inside, lining all four walls, were portraits. Paintings of people, all of them pale, eyes too wide, smiling. One of them was me, and below it, freshly painted in red, "Day 15. He sees you now." The lights don't work. The house began to change. Light bulbs blew out seconds after I turned them on. Doors closed themselves, slowly, too slowly. Whispers came from air vents that had been sealed for years, and mirrors showed people who weren't there. I stopped using the upstairs bathroom altogether. Ever since the night, I saw someone crawl backwards into the tub and vanish beneath the water. But the worst was the attic. Who was buried here? The attic had always been nailed shut. Until it wasn't, I heard footsteps up there again. But this time, there were two sets. So I climbed up, flashlight in hand. There was dust, cobwebs, a child's broken toy, and in the corner, a mound of earth like a grave. I started digging with my hands. About 2 feet down, I hit wood, a tiny coffin. I opened it, and inside was a mirror wrapped in cloth, and carved into the wood beneath it were 4 words. "This is not yours." The ones who stayed. I didn't sleep that night, not even for a second. The mirror from the attic. I threw it into the woods behind the house. But that night, when I came downstairs, it was back, sitting on the kitchen table, still wrapped in cloth, still humming. Yes, humming. Started tearing through the house, looking for any way out of this nightmare. Behind one of the old panels near the fireplace, I found a bundle of letters. They were from Daniel Whitmore, and they were all addressed to the same person, to the house. The letters were confessions, begging, apologies. I didn't know the door would stay open. I didn't mean to feed it. Please, take someone else. I'll give you a family. Just let me go. That night, I went back to the basement. I brought a flashlight, a crowbar, and a hammer. I wasn't going to run. I wanted to end this. The hatch was already open and waiting. Inside the underground room, the chair was gone. Instead, in its place stood the tall, pale man, smiling, no eyes. And behind him, dozens of others. They lined the walls, all smiling, all still. They whispered as one. "You broke the rule." I asked, "What do you want?" And the house answered, not with words, but with images flooding my head all at once. Whitmore building the room, sacrificing drifters, squatters, the forgotten, feeding the house with fear, blood, memory, locking the evil inside until I opened it. I wasn't the first, but the house had liked me. It chose me ... And I understood something horrifying. The house wasn't haunted. The house was the ghost. Final night, I left the room. Or maybe it let me leave. I don't remember climbing out. All I remember is the sun rising and me standing on the porch, barefoot, holding the mirror. The town had changed. No cars, no people, no birds, just fog and silence. I've been here for 38 days. I don't think I can leave. I don't think the house will let me. Sometimes I see other people outside, lost, confused, looking at the house like it's calling to them ... And I wonder, is this what Whitmore saw? Is this how it starts again? If you're hearing this, if you ever see a house being sold for $1, don't go. Even if it looks abandoned. Even if it calls to you. Especially then, because it's never empty. And it's never free. Default text.